Should we go from the cheers? Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome.
Long distance
Thank you.
cheers.
Long
Yes.
We cheersed over the roadcaster. That was very brave. Welcome back to a very special episode of the That's Ranked podcast, everybody. My name is Liam.
I'm Taryn.
I am Rob. And my name is Dean.
Dean's here too. And I bet you're wondering to yourself, who the heck is Dean and why is Dean joining us for this podcast? Can you answer that question, Dean?
I'm just a blow-in that you guys thought needed to bring up the looks department now that this one's recorded.
That's true. It is very true. No,
I am a humble listener.
Yeah.
As many people that will be tuning into this podcast are. So hello, you also humble podcast. Perhaps you too can sit in this chair one day.
Maybe.
I've put forward a couple rank suggestions.
Yeah, you have actually. Yeah.
In the past, I can remember one of them, but I know you've done two, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but what's one you remember?
The one I remember was things that were exceptionally cool.
Exceptionally
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
nice.
I remember tuning in, and I thought it was, as all episodes are good, but mine was.
Particularly a fabulous topic.
However, I did notice that in the episode, Taryn really vouched for me and said, "Oh, Dean would pick something very profound and very metaphorical to be cool." Talking about things that were like
Exceptionally cool.
Something out of this world.
you know, like it'd be so cool to be so devoted to a career, or no, that's not that cool. Or having a good circle of friends. And I just remember thinking at the time, fighter jets.
Yeah, fighter jets. Yeah.
That is cool.
That's what you wanted. You know, then that's why we brought you in, man. We brought you in because you're the guy. You're a listener, and we've got a bit of change coming. There are some changes afoot with the That's Ranked podcast. Oh, I didn't chuck us. Changes afoot for the That's Ranked podcast. Taryn, where are you going?
I'm going far, far away.
Far away.
To fight in a land, represent my family. No, that's Milan.
To fight?
That's Milan. That's my bad. I am moving to Europe for a 12-month career break. Plus or minus 12 months, you know.
That's very, and we're
Wouldn't
excited.
minus 12 months just be zero?
Yeah, and that's if my visa doesn't get approved and I have to come back. So it's a possibility, Dean. We touch wood. It's not going to happen. But yes, I am relocating myself to Germany.
No.
Yeah. Our Wiedersehen, babies.
Guten Tag.
And hopefully I'll be able to catch you on the podcast from Germany with my beautiful Rode microphone that the lovely boys got me.
We did.
We did. Yeah, little angels, little babies. So that'll be fun. But in the meantime, I may need some time to organise my shit.
That's right. And so we're going to get people like Dean in. And Rob, who else can we get in? Do you know anyone?
We have a lot of loyal, excited listeners out there.
We do.
And we may call on them, but this is also your opportunity as a listener. Yeah. If you have an interest, if you want to sit in Dean's chair, or actually it'd be Taryn's chair possibly, in either of these chairs, reach out to us. thatsrankpod at Gmail, thatsrankpod at Insta and at Facebook, and say, hey guys, I want to be on the pod. I've been listening to you guys rank for ages, and I sit at home and I go, oh, that's a terrible idea. I would have come up with something better.
That's
like
true.
So
this is your chance.
It's really
This is your chance. This is your chance now to actually be on the pod and ring it.
Yeah.
And because you did call us out before and said, you guys need to spruce it up. The pressure is on you today to come up with a really, really excellent idea. Oh. It's back to front. I'm assistant, sir. Thank you. With our little wheel here. We'll get to that in a second. In a second. Another little change we should talk about as well is that we're going to start doing one long one every fortnight. One long episode every fortnight.
Someone's doing a long one every fortnight. Looking at you.
Me. And then we're going to do a bit of mix it up a little bit and do some shorter ones. Yeah, we're going to go back to the start. So we are. Do you know how many episodes?
How many episodes are we then?
This is going to be episode 87 or 88.
Whoa!
Really? That's cool.
That's right. So
Two fat ladies, 88.
88. Very good. The man knows his bingo. He knows his bingo.
It's a bit outdated.
What's
though,
87? What's 87?
Fat lady and
A man with a crooked back.
And the hunchback.
And the hunchback. And a walking stick. Fat lady with a walking stick. 87. It is a little bit outdated. But we say it with love. It's like, yeah.
Chubby bubbies.
Just fat. PH.
Yeah, too fat.
Fat ladies.
Fat ladies.
Thick.
That's not a pH. Thick. That's nice and thick. All right. Well, let's talk a bit about...
Well, I was going to say, we're going to go right back to the start. Right back to the very start. So episode number 1. And we're going to re-rank. Because we say it a lot. We say that we get these wrong sometimes, as Dean pointed out. Thank you, Dean.
Thanks for pointing out flaws immediately. Great.
I actually, in all seriousness, I got the gig from writing in each week being like, what the hell is this? The first time I did write in was, I think it was Odd Pets.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where the humble Bartholomew came from. And I did say, objectively, the best answer is actually a capybara.
Which is wrong, obviously.
Well,
but
yeah,
that's
it's
fine.
wrong.
Well, hang on.
We look past it.
Good shot, Dan. Good try. You'll do better next time.
You had sloth. That's just a year-round bloody Christmas decoration.
Sir.
No wonder it came last.
Oh, shots fired.
So we're going to do it.
Battle to the death.
You're on, mate. Battle to the... Well, that's it. We haven't... Rob, what do we do? What do we do on this podcast?
This is a podcast slam. It's about a bunch of mates coming together and we talk about the things we love, things we hate. We bant and we battle and we rank.
Yeah.
But we start by spinning a wheel and we get given a subject and then we rank it live. We each come up with our favourite or the best or the worst or whatever the topic is. Mm-hmm. We battle it.
Yeah.
And we come up with a joined, shared 1, 2, and 3.
That's
To
right.
the death.
Also 4 today.
And 4. 4.
So
That's true.
We get 5 minutes each. We might actually. Are we going to bring it down? We're going to make it a bit more cutthroat. Bring it down to 4 3 minutes
each, I think.
4 minutes each.
Should we?
We'll do it. 4 minutes. Make it much more to the death.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I'm going to spin this now. You got that grip on there, sir?
I do. I'm gripping tightly.
Damn.
Well done.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
As always, Liam's got the list ready because he wouldn't not. As always. One moment, please.
1 moment, please.
Can we do it on the screen where it goes the colours and it's like beep
Technical difficulties.
from 1990.
Okay. All right.
What's 9 plus 10?
Oh, wait, I didn't even look at the number yet.
21.
Oh.
21.
I just moved it.
It was 21. Number 21. Okay, we can put this down. Get distracted. Number 21. Today we're going to be ranking the worst inventions.
This is my topic. I put this in the list.
Did you?
I did.
Really?
Sneaky girl.
And have I thought about it? Nope. It should be the most prepared. I'm not.
Well, this is the thing. We've got so many ideas on this wheel. I think we put this on the wheel way back when we started this thing.
Way back.
When you joined up. So it's been sitting there dormant. We don't know when your idea is going to come up. But today, it is the worst ever inventions. Now,
Worst ever invention.
there's been some doozies.
Well, yeah, because by the nature of it being invented would mean that it's fulfilling a need. There was a reason why it was invented.
Absolutely not.
I mean, you could argue.
Absolutely not.
You could argue an invention is bad because it's it's not fulfilling a need. It's redundant or pointless or irritating.
Yeah.
One day someone was like, do you know what we need? I don't know.
Don't give it away.
I wasn't going to. I nearly said something and I thought maybe someone's idea.
Someone's, yeah.
Or there's unintended consequences.
Oh, yeah.
You solve one problem, but then you create 10 more problems, right?
Oh.
Trust me, I know.
Sounds like you've got
I've
one in
created many
mind.
problems.
No, but there's so many, so many inventions out there. Like, how do you even begin to think on the spot, on the fly, as to what the worst one is? Because you've got the obvious ones that come to mind.
Like?
Well,
what's an obvious one then? Actually, do you want to give us an obvious
No,
one?
don't. I was
give
just
us an
joking. I
obvious
was going to take notes because I've got
nothing.
nothing going on behind these eyes.
Not one. I think-
Not a thought.
I suppose it's the opposite of what makes a great invention. And if you think about the things that are, it's sort of almost timeless.
That we can talk about because that shouldn't be on the list, right? So what's a great invention? What's it?
No,
What's
we've
it?
already done the best inventions.
Toilet.
Go on.
Toilet. is
Can
a
you
great
imagine?
invention.
Toilet, yeah.
The
Good one,
aqueduct.
good one.
Yes.
It's,
Aqueduct.
sanitization.
Sanitisation.
That's a best
Sanitariums,
invention
yeah.
ever.
Wheel.
Hot water.
Wheel is good.
Like a hot water
Oh, yeah.
machine
A water
in your
heater,
house.
yeah.
Like the ability to...
Oh, what a machine! A hot water, a water heater.
You put
a water heater.
No, be held by hot
the
water
ability
machine.
to bring hot water into our living rooms.
Yep.
Living rooms?
And
Living
running
rooms.
water.
Yeah.
rooms for living in.
Fuck do you live?
I live in a swimming pool.
Rob's new house just has like
Oh, a heated pool is good shit though.
Actually, it is. It is.
A heated seat.
a heated seat's good.
No, it's kind of wasted in Australia, I suppose, though.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, you say that. You say that though. I had a car with heated seats.
I thought you were going to say
you?
you sat in a warm toilet seat.
Oh, dude, Japan does that. Japan does that.
And it's
I
great.
hate it.
And things are
actually,
good.
No.
Nothing better.
Oh, I
you don't like it.
That's
love
like
Japanese
to me, my brain associates it with someone's bum having sat on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
already.
there is
a
It's
true
an element of like,
association.
ooh,
Don't
we're
you
touching
find-
butts
Yeah.
now.
Don't you find
Yeah.
that comforting though?
Touching butts? No, not really.
What's wrong with touching butts?
I mean, like one person out of a million every now and then, but
Yeah, so-
Is it because
and I'm about to come up to my. Which one of you? Victims.
Present.
make a case?
it's the annual butt touching festival. It's a full
Well, look
moon
out,
today.
Germany.
Just me with my pants down waiting for anyone to walk by. Like,
Yeah, you're like, it's a full moon. We go outside. We're like, no, it's not. You're like, yes, it is.
You're going to have a great time in customs in Germany, just standing there without any pants on, like
Ma'am.
a million people going through the airport.
No, there's nothing up there. I swear.
turn around and find
I'll
out.
let you
Turn
check,
around.
but you have to use your butt.
Okay, we're getting carried away. Let's bring it back. Let's pull it back. Pull it back.
And all started with the humble toilet. That's where we
What
started.
an invention.
What an
It's
invention.
a good invention.
It's a good
Yeah,
invention.
so that's a great one.
Okay.
Cup holders.
I reckon-
Cup holder.
A worst
The
invention.
cups.
Cups.
Cups
Oh
are
my god,
good.
cups.
Cup
Absolutely.
holder.
Which came first, the holder or the cup? The cup, actually, quite clearly.
Born with a cup holder right here.
Imagine if we had no cups and just going up to people going, "Can I have a large Coke, please?" Yes. Delicious. Delicious. So cup's a good one. I like cup.
Cup's a good one.
Cup's a good
Shoes.
one.
Also,
Cheers.
cup for down there.
A cup for
Like a
for
box.
when you're
It
playing
was
sports.
a protector,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, I think I've got mine.
Oh, okay. So the protective gear for the genitals for the male variety gave you an idea for the worst ever
I
invention.
did, yeah.
Interesting.
That I am very keen to hear.
Yeah.
Should I go first?
Yeah, do you just want to jump in?
Yeah, go on.
All right. So don't forget, Taryn, tonight you have. Oh, Rob.
Excuse.
No, go for it, Ted. Go for it. I was going to
Well,
give
no, we
Dean the
wanna-
choice as to whether he wanted to go first or last. or
Don't
in
we
the
need to
middle.
do the socials before we get started?
We did. You already
Rob's,
said.
Rob's already done that.
Ah,
Would you like to
yeah.
plug them? You want to plug them,
It's
don't you?
thatsrankpod
Uh-huh.
at Gmail,
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter formerly or currently.
I
Are
mean,
we on Twitter?
we
are.
have a
Yeah.
Twitter. Yeah, yeah.
And the tubes.
The YouTubes,
The tubes.
where you're probably watching us right now, hopefully. Hello. Everyone wave. Let's just do this awkwardly for the next 25 seconds. So all the audio listeners have no idea what's going on. All right. So, Taryn, worst inventions.
Oh my god, I've got it. I think 4 minutes is perfect. I can break this into 4 segments. Perfect. Can I see the timer? As
Absolutely not. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Your time starts. Feel like sales of the century. Your time starts. Now.
Okay, so we've all heard of low-rise jeans, have we not?
Yes, I'm currently wearing them.
We've heard of wire bras.
Yep.
We've heard of those fucking toe sock things that cling into your toes.
Hate them.
We've heard of those shoes that you wear that give you the massive blisters if your little sock drops down about half an inch.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to go on because I could go on for days. But they all contribute to the topic that is the worst invention ever,
Okay.
which in my humble opinion is clothing.
Oh, clothing.
Yeah, hear me
Wow,
out.
okay.
Hear me out.
All right.
You got some explaining
Hear
to
me
do.
out. Hear me out. First of all, we were all born naked little beans, little potatoes with nothing to cover our bits. All
No.
right?
We're wrapped in a blanket pretty quick, but
Oh, now, because shame was born
true.
when clothing was born.
Terrible name for a kid.
When clothing wasn't. Shame was born, and we had to cover him up.
Poor guy.
He was so unsightly. We invented clothing for him.
Oh no. Oh, it's
Jesus
beautiful.
Christ. Cover his little ass. Tiny little ass. I feel like clothing is born from shame. It is. Cover yourself up, right? We hear the stories. If you're born in a Catholic community or a Christianity, Christian upbringing, Adam and Eve. Eve sins, and then suddenly they have to start wearing leaves, and they make clothing out of plants, and it's shame. It's shame. Cover your bits,
Shame.
Cover your genitalia. I think that's sort of the first part that I think contributes to the reason clothing is the worst invention ever.
Okay.
Secondly, it's uncomfortable as shit. I feel like we're not really meant to wear clothing. I feel like clothing is... it leads into the third part, which is... maybe I'll start with that. No, I'll stick with comfort.
You're picking a good time to start 2 minutes in.
Let me start again.
Take a leaf out of my book.
Yeah, no, but I feel like the low-rise jean point for me was like, it sounds comfortable, but I feel like if you're wearing something tight around your hips, that can't be comfy. If you're wearing something wired around your, chest, that can't be guaranteed. That's not, from experience, it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Thongs, fucking toe socks, anything
thongs
that's rubbing
in the
against
foot
you.
sense,
No,
or
thongs in the
the G-banger
Yeah,
sense?
the G-banger thongs. I mean,
I know
fashion
that
is...
feeling.
Do we
Yeah.
know? I know you do. Don't even.
We've all tried.
Do you have a mankini in all seriousness? Just a water
There are
skiing.
pics.
Anyway, there are.
We've all, you've heard the term fashion is pain. Beauty is pain.
Yeah.
And that lends itself to clothing, because what else is painful? Makeup's not painful. Skincare's not painful unless you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But clothing is what it lends itself to. Fashion is pain. And I think that's a horrendous message to be sharing with people, especially young women, young boys growing up. Thirdly, the industry that clothing has perpetuated in the fast clothing market. What do they call that?
Yeah, I think it's called the fast clothing market. Yeah.
Yeah, like disposable clothing. So Shein, those sort of brands.
H&M,
not to name and shame, but
H&M,
yeah. It's $10 for like a singlet, and then you wear that polyester singlet for a month, and if you're lucky, and it gets ripped to shreds because it's made out of really unsustainable and weak materials, and then it goes straight into landfill. And in some cases, there's child labour facilitating the industry. There is a lot of abuse, underpayment, that sort of thing that's really lending itself to the negative side of the industry. And I think that heavily contributes to the reason that clothing is the worst invention ever. I could actually go on forever. I do want 5 minutes now, but that's all right. I'll wrap it up in 15 seconds.
You were so confident in 4.
Yeah. I mean, I did kind of step it out, didn't I? Introduce the topic. I had 3 reasons why, and I feel like that makes my debate fully rounded. Clothing is the worst invention ever.
2.
I'd like to not feel shame, please, with my body.
That's actually a really good answer.
Thank you.
I never thought that would actually come up as one, because we're so accustomed to wearing clothes now. But the other part of clothing is, trying to find something that you think looks good
Yeah.
or is clean.
Yeah, well,
I was
even
gonna say,
changing.
what looks good subjective, but clean's objective.
Yeah, clean's definitely.
Yeah.
But even changing, like we got here this afternoon and I was like, I want to change my shirt, and all the bathrooms are locked, and I was like, well, there's no way I can take my shirt off in front of everyone. They'd be like, you can go to jail for indecent exposure. What the fuck is that about? I get it
only if you look
now,
bad.
and in our society, I understand flashing children is a very bad thing to do. But imagine if it was just normal. It wouldn't be such a crime. Like, it wouldn't be, not that I'm advocating for it, but you wouldn't treat it as something repulsive.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I remember
We've made society that way.
Yeah.
We have. A society has shamed us into hiding.
When I was a child, I went around to my friend's house around the corner from where I was living in primary school, and they invited me over for a swim, and I'm there in my rashie because I didn't want anyone to see my belly. Proof in the pudding. Shame.
Why? Imagine if we just saw bellies from the age we were like 6 months old. You wouldn't be like, ugh. You'd be like,
true.
oh yeah.
That's true.
belly.
But the rest of them, all the rest of the family, mum, dad, the kids, buck naked. And then everyone was just like free and flying free and just
Love
having
that.
everything. And then mum came and picked me up. She was like, what is happening? What is happening
Jail,
here?
police,
What's
cops.
happening here?
Yeah.
And they were just, but they were so comfortable in it though. They would just rock up and be like, Joe, good to see you. And I was like, there's your badge.
Yeah, but I wonder
wasn't
what their
expecting to see that.
self-confidence. Like,
Sure.
my friend Becky, she said her mum, grew up like, telling them to liberate their bodies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In that way, not having to cover up and be ashamed and wear like, oh, you went from size 10 pants to 12. You there's something wrong. Let's get you on a diet. Blah blah blah. It's unsightly. You don't fit clothes. And she said,
Wait, I've just realised something.
we're going into over the 4 minutes.
I was going to say, because I know what she did there. She was very clever.
No, I did not do that intentionally. I'm sorry.
I know.
Anyway, she's really confident, happy with her body, but that's beside the point.
That's good for her. But
I think I'd love to hear your
only
tips.
because you said.
I'm sorry.
Only because you said that you could talk about it forever. That's why I had to stop you. That's why I had to stop you.
Yeah,
No, it
sorry.
is. We could talk about it.
I did like your story that contributed to that, though. So if you try and get me for it, I'm just going to go back to your
Disqualified.
story.
Disqualified. No, good one, Taryn. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Should we throw it over to Mr. Dean? Mr. Dean, do you have one that you're?
I do have one.
Oh wow! The confidence on him. I love it.
Ready to go. It's actually something I found interesting recently, but I am ready to hold off until.
This better be good.
Okay.
We didn't get you on here for nothing, bro.
I hope it's one of the topics.
One of the.
Oh yeah, you might take mine.
Oh yeah.
Do
All right.
it.
Ready? 4 minutes begins in 3, 2, go.
What I'm going to pitch today is actually largely described as by the inventor of the thing I'm going to describe today is described as the one-man and now I've forgotten what the phrase was. The one-man climate disaster because of how influential his invention was on the climate and society as a whole.
I think I know what it is.
What do you think it is?
Coffee pods.
No.
Damn it.
Interesting, though.
Yeah.
Could be. Wonder if that's yours. Mine is leaded fuel.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you go to the Bowser, you'll notice that it's always unleaded fuel. And I don't know if anyone else has ever thought, why is it specifically called unleaded, not brown fuel or clear fuel or whatever it may be? Why do they choose that? And that's because originally when fuel was made, they needed an anti-knocking agent to preserve engines.
Anti-knocking agent.
Yes. So basically when piston fires in your car, to stop, make sure it sort of burns cleanly and has a up and down instead of going side to side. They needed an agent that would make the combustion reaction as smooth as possible.
Okay.
Do you not know that, Liam?
I know. I was.
Thanks, Dean. That was awesome.
Yeah,
actually.
That was very impressive.
Go on.
So I cannot Migley or something. He came up with
John
an
Migley.
agent for that would be used in fuel that would make it burn cleanly, and he found that using lead or a variant of lead in fuel would do that.
Whoa.
Now, it went for a long time undiscovered what the impact on society of leaded fuel was, but it did turn out eventually that they found not just a correlation, but a strong causation with a 22-year lag that, I think it was 22 years, areas with higher doses of leaded fuel usage saw massive spikes in crime and decrease.
Crime?
Yes.
Wow.
Crime and a inversely proportional causation or correlation and deduced as a causation.
You've lost
lower
me
intelligence.
already. Lower
So
that's why
basic-
I mean. That's let a petrol off my fucking brain.
You must have had lead
Your
around.
parents are like, ooh.
Causation, yes.
Go on.
So leaded fuel has been a bane on society, and it was only sort of used up to, I think, the 50s or 60s.
For how long?
It was
Oh, no.
first discovered in the 20s.
We used to have leaded pumps when I was a young man.
Yeah, I was going to say they are. It is still used in
Explains a
propeller
lot.
planes to this day, and I believe I cannot use the remaining time to go through the full story, but there is.
Go on, you got a minute. Try.
It's very. It was the way they discovered the lead levels in society was to do with sort of scraping rocks or something, and they found that
Wow.
there was that much lead, extra lead in places it shouldn't be, or doesn't occur naturally. That
like
is what led to them.
It's like an
going-
inch of
Yeah.
lead before it was rock.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe not that much, but
It's a science.
yes,
Liam,
there was
come
a
on.
layer of lead on rocks basically everywhere, and so
That's amazing.
yeah, the impact it had on society was massive, and not just those things that I mentioned before, but it's so drastic that they will consistently to this day downgrade the amount of lead that people can take in, or what they rate as a safe
Wow.
amount. So I was born in the mid-90s,
Oh,
and what was rated nice, what was rated as a safe dosage then is now considered not harmful, but certainly
safe.
not what's safe and recommended for kids these days.
Wow.
What level of lead is recommended for children, please, Dean?
None.
0?
It is as close to 0 as you can get, basically.
'Cause I
But
remember, like nowadays, when like a petrol station is demolished and made room for something else, they have to like literally level the earth and get rid of it, and you can't use it for an extended period of time
Yeah.
because you look in pain. Did he just
Yeah,
take your
you
answer?
do look in pain.
No.
have you been huffing lead?
He's like, oh no.
It's fine. Dean didn't take my answer, but somebody else did a little bit.
Clothing.
A little bit. So my brain's rattling. Sorry, Dean. It's your
No,
turn.
that's okay.
It's your turn.
Time up.
Yeah, his time up. His time up.
Your time's up?
He's time non grata.
Yeah.
But that's a good answer. It's a good answer because realistically back then, and I think like in the early 1900s, and we didn't really focus on that stuff, right? We didn't know about anything. It's like, what makes this work better? Let's not think about the ramifications. Let's do it, get it out there, and then we're just left to deal with it.
I believe there was a degree of cover-up,
course there
similar to what there was with the smoking industry, because there was a lot of money in this.
Chernobyl as well.
Yeah.
Cash money.
That sort of thing.
Vibes, yeah.
So
and
that hasn't changed in society. That's good.
Asbestos.
That's it.
Yeah.
Love that. Asbestos. That's
Asbestos.
a
Yes.
bad one. That's another terrible invention.
No one invented asbestos, did they? Is it not a...
I think they
invented
invented the use. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
the use of it.
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
For fences and houses. All right, that's a good one, Dean. That's a good one. Now,
That was good.
Rob is in pain.
I'm reeling a little bit.
Okay.
Because I don't think I can go.
Okay.
What I was going to go. It's not exactly clothing, but it leads into it. So I'm not.
Have-
I've gone so many. I've got. As you can see, I can't even speak right now.
So do you not want to go
I've ne-
next?
I've
Maybe
nev-
Liam should go
I've never
next.
seen him so fluster.
Well, I'm flustered.
Well,
I'm flustered.
I'll tell you what. I'll go
Okay.
because I've got like 4.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I've got like 4.
You've
as
got
well.
4 minutes. You can't do 4 topics.
One per minute.
Should I do it? I'm not going to do it. I'm
Cowards.
trying to. Did you just call me a coward? Fuck it, I'll do it then.
You'll be automatically
lads.
disqualified.
You wouldn't do it. All right. No. Oh.
Oh, we've got them a stumbled.
No. I'm trying to think about which one will
stumbling.
actually.
Oh,
What's going to
win.
win?
I reckon.
Yeah. What's going to win?
Yeah. Oh.
you're being
And then-
strategic.
Being strategic.
Some
Play
of
the
us stay
crowd.
true to our hearts.
Because I can kind of piggyback on Taryn's idea as well.
Okay, we'll get your own, but all right.
Well, it's not so much.
You're like, shoes. All right, hear me out. That is
My
including
favorite.
clothing.
Cupboards.
Hair, am I right? Hair's actually a really good invention. Keeps you
Okay.
warm when you're not wearing clothes, you know what I mean?
I'm just going to do it because I'm going to fucking keep thinking about it for ages and ages. If I don't, my time begins. And now, so it kind of focuses in on Taryn's in the sense of shame and like things that we are told we should be doing or how we should look and how things are sold to us in any particular way, shape, or form. My worst invention ever is, how do I put this? TV aerobic exercise machines in general. So I'm talking like the shake weight, you know what I mean? Like the shake weight or those little ab things you put on that just kind of pulse your belly and you think that you're losing a whole bunch of weight.
Yeah.
You know the shake weight though, right? You know,
I'm well versed.
And he doesn't need the weight for it.
So I was gonna kind of like go in the sense of like just those TV commercials, but that's not really an invention per se. It's more of a marketing. I guess marketing is
Oh,
Yeah.
are you talking about like gimmicky exercise?
gimmicky exercise machines. Yeah,
things, yeah.
Because I know that when I was a young man, I was
When I was.
every time I say that,
Bad.
bad.
Can you be a young woman for once? Jesus.
I was once.
So brave.
So you know, when I was a young lad, I was don't do it. I was quite big. I was quite a big dude, and I used to look at ways to get myself in shape, and none of them was taking responsibility for what I was eating or how I was exercising. But I would see these ads come on the TV, and I would see them just like, you know, see this really fit person just standing there on those wobble boards. You just stand on it, it just does this, and they're just like happy. They're like. And you're like, whoa, that makes you lose weight? That's amazing.
Meanwhile, they were born like that.
Yeah, legit. Or just like worked hard in the gym,
True.
which is what they don't tell you, right? They have this whole thing where this invention is going to make you lose all the weight. And the reason it's the worst is because it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's all rubbish. Dean, unless, Dean, you've got some experience with something that's made you lose a shit ton of weight.
No, I only put it on.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what happens, though, right? Because you get these things like people hold the shake weight. It's the best one to mimic.
Yeah.
You're holding the shake weight.
Why is your mouth like that?
I mean, you can do it this way too. You can do it that way too.
Behind your head.
Can you do it down here? No, that's fine.
Under the table.
At the same time.
You could do one with your jaw if you had to.
But people buy that fucking hell. People buy those things and they sit there on the couch with their Cheetos and they're just gonna go on like, okay, watching TV. Can you get your head out of the gutter, please? Jesus. For once in your life. I'll go this way. Yeah. But that's what they do. Or they sit there and they put those little ab things that kind of zap your abs and you're thinking you're going to get yourself a six-pack. And what happens? It doesn't happen because you don't go to the gym, you don't eat better, you just think this invention is going to help you magically get fit. And then what happens? You get bigger, like you said, like it happened to you. I'm sorry about that.
Man, it was tough.
No, I'm sorry. Triggered a little bit. I'm sorry. But I think that's why it's the worst invention. The same sense of the shame that you said with clothing is the sense that these inventions are made to basically just get money out of people.
Like star signs.
Like
It's not your turn.
He knew that truly. But they're designed just to take money and give hope to people who should be seeking hope in different places.
Or seeking education in different places.
Education in different places.
Because they always say as well, backed by science.
Yeah.
Science.
That science is a better diet and exercise, and it says that in little fine print down the bottom. But they sell it as this magical mystery tour of just you do this, you get fit, and that's it. Even things like it's not really like the same, but like the shakes, like the protein shakes that you can get and stuff like that. Those ones are the same kind of idea. But for the purposes of this rank, because I've only got 20 seconds, it's just the worst invention is those get fit, quick exercise machines that are just there to take your money and give you a false sense of hope and rock hard abs.
And shame you.
Yeah, shame you. Yeah.
I think as well what makes them particularly bad is, like you said, the fact that they're sold so well, and the fact that they are so promising and appealing to such vulnerable people who have that sense of shame as well.
And the before and afters as well.
Yeah.
They literally get fit people to get fat, take the after photo, and then get them to just lose the weight, or just use the before photo as the after photo.
Just flip them the other way.
Flip the other way around, and then use that as their selling techniques. It's bad. It's bad.
Could you flip the coin and say the person who, and devil's advocate, I agree with you, first and foremost, but I think like those people are entrepreneurs and do they truly believe in it? Did it work for them?
No, I don't think so. I think what's happened is like, you look back at the ones, you remember back in the old days. You know.
When he was.
No, yes. That's right. They used to get like a band and they just put a band around you and connect that. Yeah. And it was just like, and the idea was that the friction in itself would just wear the fat away. Right. And I think that's where it all kind of began. Someone's like a snake oil salesman was just like, this is definitely going to work, or someone's going to fall for it.
Melt the fat off your body.
Exactly right. And then that just took off.
It goes in partnership as well with a culture that makes us all work too hard and for too long. So it's just like, no one can look after themselves. People are gaining weight because they feed us shitty food. Yeah. So then as a spin-off from that, they're like, oh, buy exercise in a 30, 45-minute window that you can do at home or you can do as a group, or this is the latest fad. Because it kind of fits into this whole kind of toxic way of living that we kind of have.
And you're right, and that puts that time. They put that time limit on there. You know, you can lose this much in just 15 minutes a day.
Exactly.
And also buy it in the next 15 minutes, and we'll give you 2 because that's going to be helpful for some reason.
Yeah, you and a friend get fit with a friend.
No, one for each thigh.
It's interesting because at 2 o'clock in the mornings, often when the most healthy, motivated people are watching TV. I mean,
not Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg's up at 4 a.m. ready for the gym for the next 4 hours.
He got into that habit just so he could catch the commercials.
Yeah.
He was just like, well, if I'm going to really be fit.
So many Opti-Slims, so many butt shakers. Calm down, Mark Wahlberg.
It's either 2 in the morning or it's like during those 9 to 10 a.m. old people shows.
Or hospital
Good
times.
morning.
Judge Judy comes on in question time.
Judge Judy.
Where's the timer at this stage? Is it done?
Yeah.
It's done.
It was done ages ago. Yeah, we just reminded me to stop talking about my thing.
Where's the timer? It's been like 17 minutes.
We've been loose.
Yeah,
we've been
it's
loose
good.
tonight. Normally we're much more stricter about this.
Ah, right. It must be this onion beer or Orion
listen,
beer.
Okay, listen. Before Rob goes to his, one of the best inventions ever. This is a beer from Okinawa, Japan. And Rob and I used to drink this every day when we were working on the farms in Okinawa, which is why we got it. We thought you might enjoy it. And here you are.
Good job. I love it.
I love the colours on the can, can I just say?
It's a very cool
Unusual
can.
pairing of red, orange, blue.
It is every action movie poster colours. Have you noticed that? They're all blue and orange.
Like the sunrise or sunset,
Yeah,
and then the midnight.
Yeah.
Darkness before the dawn.
It's also good and evil colours.
Yeah.
Usually the blues portrayed.
Blues, yeah.
good.
Unless
Captain
unless it's
America's.
on the Orion beer, in which case it's all good, baby.
All good, baby.
This
Telling
episode
me
is
it's
sponsored
not
by.
onion beer.
All right, I'm curious to see Rob's selection here.
Yeah, I've been.
Time starts now.
I've been,
go for it. I might as well.
I was joking.
I've been racking my brain because my original idea was clothing based, and I don't think I can do it anymore. But I'll kind of fit it into my answer.
Okay, would you like me to start?
Please start the clock, Liam.
Go.
So originally I was going to say the worst invention was the spinning wheel thing that they invented back in like the 1700s, 1800s, the way to mass produce garments. Because if you look at human history, it's clothes manufacturing is where the Industrial Revolution began. And the Industrial Revolution is really the thing we're still grappling with today. It's the thing that's destroyed the environment, kind of destroyed the world, given us modernity, but it's also had so many kind of like lethal negative consequences. And it started with clothing, Taryn, so just to back up your idea. And the spinning...
I think that's different to my
the
concept.
spinning jenny is the actual machine that they used to first start mass
What did
producing
Jenny do?
food. I don't know. But no, what I'm going to pivot my idea a little bit, and I'm going to go with eugenics.
Eugenics.
Is a science.
Explain.
It's a science. So it's a form of science, and it was particularly popular in the 1800s, early 1900s. And what eugenics effectively, and the 1700s, what eugenics effectively looks at is differences in the human species. And where it got dangerous is when people started to look at it from a point of view of race. And they started to justify things like slavery by measuring the size of skulls and differences of skulls in races.
Yeah.
When Belgians went to Rwanda, they decided to categorize people based on physical features into Tutsis and Hutus, which didn't exist, those two concepts, prior to the Belgians arriving.
Oh, really?
But then created effectively two ethnicities of people, which would later go on to have a genocide.
Oh, wow.
Nazis. So Hitler, like a lot of his political beliefs were formed at the peak of eugenics, which was happening a lot in like the 20s and 30s in America was when it was going mainstream. And it backed up a lot of his policies and a lot of, obviously we all I don't need to explain what the Nazis did, not just to Jewish people, but to people of other minority groups as well. And it was all based on the foundation of eugenics.
Okay.
It fed into the stolen children policies of Australia, eugenics, because it's when people, it's when governments and people effectively looked at science to justify negative actions. In a sense, like they felt they were self-righteous to do these things. They felt they had a place and a purpose and a power to do these things because it was objective and it was scientific and it was nature. Nature versus nurture. That was based in nature, and they thought it was scientific. And then the offset of that would create a lot of policies which has destroyed the lives and killed millions of people.
That's not very good.
No. That's why I think it's a bad invention.
Was Pol Pot, or was he just a bit wacko?
So Pol Pot, that was not eugenics.
Yeah.
So Pol Pot wanted to take us back to the agrarian days. So the Khmer Rouge were just like science is out, government is out, like everyone's going to be living an agrarian subsistence lifestyle, making rice on farms, and which is kind of like fine, right? People are kind of
spell that. Spell that. Use that in a sentence. So I went to an aquarium on the weekend.
They had the biggest aquarium I've ever seen. Agrarian is like a subsistence, so like living in a small community, just like you grow what you eat. Which is where a lot of us are wanting to go back to now, right? It's like, that's the place, that's the way to do it. And before the spinning jenny, goddammit, that's where we were. It's all linked to Jenny, damn it, and her damn spinning.
The stupid block.
So but basically, you can take an idea, right, and you can just take it too far.
Yeah.
And Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge is a perfect example of how they weaponized an idea of just returning to a way of life, and in a lot of instances, eugenics was the basis of weaponizing an ideology against races and groups and marginalized groups of people. The deadly consequences.
Wow.
So there you go.
That
eugenics.
is so compelling. I wish I'd gone Industrial Revolution because now I'm like, clothes can be really fun forms of expression.
That's true.
And have you ever been cold and put a
You
jumper
did.
on?
But you did say that the Industrial Revolution, you did say clothes. You did say the environmental consequences.
Yeah.
And I want to shout out the Planet Money podcast that did like a series about a t-shirt manufacturing, and they tracked a t-shirt. And it's fascinating, man.
It is fascinating. I've watched those. Yeah,
it's mind-blowing.
Don't read books, but I watch a YouTube hole. God
That's how I
damn.
found out about leaded fuel. There's a.
I was going to say, you listen to podcasts
I
and
think
watch.
it was a half an hour. I believe it was by Veritasium on YouTube. They did a
Veritasium.
That's a beautiful
I believe
name.
it was by Veritasium.
He's a very good agrarian in his house.
Is that one of Veritasium's latest works? I love it.
These are so good. I'm surprised no one said religion and politics.
I'm surprised no one said social media.
Yeah.
I was going to say parking,
Yeah,
paid parking. I was like, whoever put a price value on the first parking spot, in my mind, is the devil.
Yeah.
Is the devil.
Yeah.
Especially at hospitals. What's going on there?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
come
is
on.
that should
Yeah,
be
that's a
illegal.
shocker. That's
That
a
should be
shocker.
illegal.
Don't get me started.
And that's what I mean by I'm surprised no one said governance. Although I can see the positives of religion and governance in some aspect. So
Well, I think
that's why I didn't choose them.
I was going to say, I was about to say, there's positives in all of these, but maybe not.
Not eugenics.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No.
I mean, eugenics can be used for good. It's a science, right? Like,
It's a science.
we could you could say eugenics helped us find out stuff about dinosaurs and shit.
That's true.
Eugenics?
No, probably not. See,
Probably
I'm
not.
unread. I'm unread.
Yeah, honestly.
Wow, you said skull
the whole
sizes and I
time-
just went straight to
The
dinos.
whole time you guys were talking, I was like going, fuck, I don't understand any of this. And I turned to Taryn and I said, I need to read more books. And she was in the same boat as me going, yeah. I felt like I had a friend in that moment, and I appreciate it. What
I
about
feel like I learned a lot from like everyone today, everyone's bits.
Likewise.
credit cards? Terrible
Credit cards,
invention.
What's
terrible
that shit
invention.
about? Yeah.
Terrible inventions.
Interest rates.
Blackjack.
Gambling.
Debt.
Gambling.
Debt, being able to go into debt.
Yeah. There are just so many bad ones.
Yeah.
It's interesting
lot
as
of
well,
bad
like
options.
the way banks work of being able to actually lend money they don't actually have.
Mm.
That's
That
a
is the biggest
really,
farce.
really bad way to go. Seemingly, just
Seemingly. But this would be fine.
yeah. What could possibly go wrong
Yeah.
apart from I don't know, financial ruin across the world?
Yeah. Economic,
Do
downfall.
you need like $2 million right now? I can give it to you. I don't have it, but I can give
Yeah,
it to
I
you.
can give it to you.
Works though. That's literally how the bank works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man.
It actually is crazy.
It is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Insane.
guys, very, very good. Very good. We got
Oh.
4 very interesting answers. All of them had and have pretty dire effects on the world. But now we must rank.
Oh, shit. I rank first.
Yeah, you do,
So
brother.
whoever goes last ranks first.
Yes.
He's
I am aware.
He's aware. He's an avid
he's an
listener.
avid
my
listener.
friend. Yeah,
He
he's an
listens
avid
to it
listener.
more than we do, probably. Aside from you. 'cause
I
you
listened to
edit.
the podcast, but I wasn't listening when we did the socials wrap earlier. So
No, but you're just really keen to show that you
Yeah,
knew exactly what they were.
You're like, one more
show
time.
off, big flex.
I'll cut him out.
Double plug,
What
double plug.
That
He's in
little,
marketing.
that little bit where Rob's doing it, I'll just cut your bit out and put it in. It'll be seamless.
Seamless.
Rob, you have 4 people to rank tonight. I'm going to get my little thingamajig up here so I can get the
I need
score.
paper. I need to put pros and cons lists.
Oh, we do not have time for that.
Here's an
Taryn.
idea.
Lead,
Here's
pro,
an idea.
pencils.
Because there's 4 of us,
Yeah.
we can't rank ourselves.
Oh.
We only have to do a 3, 2, 1 of the other ranks.
I like that idea.
What do you reckon?
What do you reckon, Taryn?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It stops
Yeah.
us from putting ourselves 1, which I
Yeah.
think is a bit of a...
Yeah.
Which is...
Or the old Bartholomew.
Yep, true.
Yeah, she stops the old Bartholomew too.
Oh, what did little body do?
Oh.
All right. L, T, D, R. Oh, no, I have to do TLDR because that makes sense.
TLDR.
TLDR.
Telluride.
This is the
Telluride.
TLD. This is the TLDR podcast tonight.
TLDR.
What does that stand for?
Too long
Come
didn't
at you,
read,
Oh.
which is apt. Okay.
For the theme, we're both like,
TLDR. Okay, so I should hustle my answers. And they're all actually hard because you're talking about environmental consequence.
Yep.
You're talking about shame and environmental consequence. And we're talking about shame and body image, which are all things
And also
I'm-
environmental because they just throw that shit out.
actually people do for
yeah, they don't last long, right?
Based purely on scale,
Oh shit.
Purely on scale, I am going to go with the fitness equipment.
Number
at
1.
3.
You.
Just purely
sorry,
on
what?
scale at 3. And then it's the battle between clothing, which is where I was going, and leaded petrol, which I don't know anything about. But I learnt a little bit about, and it sounds terrible.
Would you like to learn more? Because I don't have much off the
You
top
can
of
call
my head.
Dean after this.
It's okay.
You can visit your local library.
Listen to the podcast.
Hot shout out for the library, man.
Just
Absolutely.
because Taryn
You
did
avid
it,
reader?
I did it because I was going to take the clothing angle based on the environmental consequence, and you did go there at the end.
That was one of my
That was
key
one
3
of your
points.
key 3 points.
Landfill and slave labor.
And and it chases literally like the textile.
Don't forget when she's pitching for your idea to put her number 1. Don't forget the slave labor, please.
So I'm going to go leaded fuel clothing.
Let it fuel. Let it fuel. Okay, so
Wait, go again. What's your rank?
Clothing is 1.
You won.
Leaded
Clothing
fuel
as well.
is 2.
Oh, I thought you won.
no, I came
No,
third.
he came third.
Oh,
Yeah,
The fitness thing came third.
it's Rob ranking. I came third.
don't say that. I thought you ranked Liam first because of scale.
No, because I knew he was going to say third, so I said number 1 over the top of him, just to
No.
be a cheeky boy.
Oh,
And because of
you
scale-
got me. I was like, oh, I would have changed.
No, on scale it makes sense. On scale it
Just
makes
because
sense.
like clothing has had like
Yeah.
a huge impact on everything for hundreds
Yeah,
of years
it
and continues
covered-
to do so. Keeps people in
getting
poverty.
worse.
Lifts people temporarily up from poverty and then brings it down.
Yeah.
And when you like the way they make these t-shirts is insane. Like
Mm.
it's cheaper to make one element of the shirt in one country and then pile it all onto a big boat, ship it across the other side of the world to do the second phase of the shirt.
Yeah.
And like the
Crazy.
environmental consequence of that is just insane.
Insane.
Cost
Yeah.
cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
A little bit
All right,
depressing.
my turn. Now, I know I just said that he puts me third all the time, but I'm gonna make a little bit of an argument here.
Go on.
Is eugenics an invention,
I
or
was
is
thinking
it a discovery? In my mind, it's something that has been developed and studied over time, not necessarily an invention. So for that reason alone, I'm putting it number 3.
Fair. That did cross my mind as well because I was like, isn't eugenics science? But then, can you invent a science?
Shake weight
yeah.
science too, though, so you can't really say too much about that.
And what a
You
science.
can invent a science. Like, mathematics was invented, I guess.
Yeah,
and
you
that's a
invent
science.
a form of
Science.
science. You invent it.
Uh-oh.
Someone had
I need to
label
look
it,
into
name it.
eugenics more.
I'm going to put leaded petrol number 2, only because whilst it's economic, oh, I'm sure, and environmental
And social.
and social, everything was pretty bad. I think it's for the most part been worked out, and like we're starting to see the use of it peter away. And now hopefully we've learnt a lot about that, and we don't have to worry about that invention no more.
Yeah.
Maybe up front.
Yes. It's not getting worse.
Up front. But you know what else? What is getting worse though? Clothing. Clothing.
The more I think about it, I'm like, damn, fuck clothing. We should just abolish it. I mean, what are they going to do if we all just not buy clothing ever
Alright,
again?
let's do it.
Hell yeah, brother.
Dean's here for it.
There's some hygienic benefits to clothing and like weather protection too.
Yeah, well,
That's
I don't
true.
know because I feel like clothing for coverage is the angle I was going for. It's not what I said, so I agree. You can definitely have that caveat. And like wearing shorts so you don't chafe when you run. That's a good point of clothing. I don't know.
Well,
UTI prevention.
that's true.
Yeah.
Would there be like stuff like that happening?
No
Oh, you
dirt
mentioned
getting up in
it.
there.
Sunburn.
You know,
Eyewear's a
fun fact,
sunburn, yeah.
the most effective way to absorb vitamin D, the most effectively and efficiently, is through your bumhole.
Oh, really?
So your doctor will tell you to get your tummy
Perineum
out.
More
Tanning.
butt stuff.
Your doctor will tell you to get your... There's a thing.
Classic. Classic
No,
Taryn.
I
Do
genuinely...
you talk about anything else?
Do you know me? No, mate, your doctor will tell you to get your belly out because it's the most, it's the least exposed area. Why? Because we cover it up with clothing? Oh, bam! Slam! Argument for me. But it's because it absorbs the most sunshine. It's like the volume and it's the least exposed, so it's got the least melatonin. Yeah. Wow, I always want to say melatonin. Yes, but your bumhole is even more hidden away, don't you think?
What is it?
Don't you
Perineum
think?
tanning? Is that what they call it? Have you seen those people who just lift their legs up
Yes.
and drop back?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Tan their bunghole.
Well,
But you shouldn't do it for long because that shit burns and that is not comfortable, I imagine.
I mean, I think they're pretty liberal. You go to Europe. You go to Europe.
That's true.
Taryn, and they're pretty liberal in Germany. The saunas are out there.
Yeah.
I used to live with some Germans, and they were just like, saunering it up all the
They
time.
were Liam's childhood friends.
With their friends.
Yeah. Pretty sure that we're Finnish, actually. Makes sense.
And there was
No shame, baby.
No shame,
Yeah.
no concern.
I think the mental health impact. Anyway.
Mr. Dean.
So, I have been thinking about the answers.
Thank goodness for that.
Oh my God, he's present. Thank God. Whew.
However, I find the rationale as to why you guys have ranked clothing so high to be somewhat, I don't want to say flawed, but you could make a similar argument that the actual thing you have an issue with is shame instead of clothing.
Is shame an emotion, not an invention? I think
Well,
clothes were an invention.
That's as much of
as a
invention
result.
as eugenics is.
Exactly.
Emotion, science. I don't know.
Oh,
Do you want me to
Dean.
argue it or not?
No, I'm just more thinking outside the box.
Okay, pipe down.
There are a lot of benefits in wearing clothes, as you have mentioned, and put the caveat on. So, as you know,
Yeah, I'm not trying
skin
to say
protection, warmth. Throughout most of human history, I would argue that clothing has actually been utilitarian in value rather than hedonic or emotional. So
He's using these big words.
it's been
Yeah.
functional.
You're gonna go
you know.
live in the library.
I thought he listened to this podcast before. He's using these big words like we know
He
what the
must
fuck
think
they
we're
mean.
so dumb.
I know, right? Seriously.
So I think I can certainly see the overuse of clothing as a detriment. However, I do think it's, and to this day, sort of as need. It's a quick way of being comfortable. We're still not able to walk around in the snow and be able, despite all our technological advances, it's still cold.
But did we not evolve because we wore clothing? Imagine if we'd evolved to live in the snow.
How many deaths?
Also the
Taryn?
ice caps.
How many countless?
Too many
and
people.
unneeded
I would
deaths,
argue overpopulation.
Frozen to death.
I would argue overpopulation.
I've got this really nice mammoth, this really lovely mammoth skin.
Why would you
I'm
live
not
in the
wearing
snow
it.
if you could
I
migrate?
will not be shamed. I will not be shamed to wear that mammoth skin. I will not.
So, with that in mind, perhaps this is
Just do it, Dean.
okay. Clothing. Sorry, 3. And here's the interesting thing.
Okay.
Yes, eugenics has had, again, it's the impact of it
Horrible.
that has been really bad. But I think the correlation of it being bad is a lot stronger and is a lot more consistently bad and led to bad things than clothing. So I see that's why it makes it so much more worse in the argument here. However, I think straight up those get thin, not rich quick, but get skinny quick, are blatantly predatory.
Yeah.
And yes, the inventor could have believed in them to some degree, but the way in which they are developed and the product was advanced and promoted is even perpetually bad and targeted to people in need. So I'm actually going to put the exercise equipment number 1. So clothing there, eugenics second, exercise the false exercise and false and predatory exercise equipment as number 1, because that's on the same.
I should let Dean rank first.
I know.
Because
Yeah,
I
he
would
actually
also.
convinced me around a little bit.
I have actually an
Not
honourable
this.
mention that I will drop now. I was going to say get rich quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Ponzi.
a very similar
Pyramid schemes.
Ooh, actually,
premise.
that would have been a good one.
Ponzi schemes.
Yeah. So it's a very similar premise. It's just get thin quick. And for that reason, I think it's the West.
Oh, thanks, Dean. Love it.
Well, this is going to sound real bad because I feel like I'm not picking on you now because you put me last.
Oh,
I had a
it
list.
is.
No, I'm really not. I'm not. Can I launch into my rank?
Go for it. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I would rank like the predatory exercise equipment similarly to clothing. I would probably, eugenics is off the scale for me. Like that is, I'm still pondering that. And then the lead for me because you mentioned it's between the 20s and the 60s, and because we had so many examples of similar things, so like asbestos and different things that you could, I don't know, even now we talk about radioactive materials that we're still discovering is, harmful.
Yeah.
All terrible inventions. The worst, that's why I was going to put lead last, because third, not last, top 3 still.
Hey.
Because
Podium.
bronze medal for you, sir. Not even participation, bronze. I think that's why I was going to put it third, because it's the shortest timeline impact, and I think there's so many similar ones you can put it in a pool with, which are still freaking terrible. But yeah, and then the exercise equipment. I agree. I think it's horrendous. It's a money-making scheme. It's predatory. It's picking on vulnerable people. Very similar to the shame portion of the clothing argument that I made. And then your argument about eugenics, out of this world, because first of all, I was like, science and invention? I was like, yeah, I guess it is, because science, we invent mathematics, etc., etc. The way you explained it about what they did with what?
I don't think you do invent mathematics. I think you discover mathematics.
Yeah.
You learn mathematics. You don't invent it.
Like Pythagoras didn't go, I am going to turn the switch on for a squared plus b squared
That's
equals
not what
c squared.
invention is, though. Invention isn't turning a switch on.
No, but it's creating it.
That's inventing. Yeah, creating the concept is my definition of an invention. I could be wrong.
Oh, it is your rank. You can be as right as you want to be.
Yeah. So I did question it.
Taryn, I agree with you.
Well, I did. That's why I questioned it, because I was like, is it invention or is it just discovering science? I don't know. I think it could be an invention because you mentioned it was weaponized, and the invention of weaponizing eugenics is how I'm interpreting your answer. So I'm going to put yours number 1. I'm going to put Dean's number 3, and then I'm going to put the weight loss. I want to say industry.
Yeah.
But the weight loss tools, the specific machines that you talked about, number 2. And I'm going to stick with that, because if I overthink it, I'll change my answer.
That's fine. And we don't want that. We have to wrap this up. All right, give me a second. I'm just doing some tallies, everybody.
I do think eugenics is you have to invent a way of thinking. Invention is not just a physical thing, but you can invent a point of view and a way of thinking, particularly one that is a concept.
Yeah, and you just referenced Pythagoras' theorem.
Yeah.
That was a human being that invented the translation of the concept, or invented a way to interpret the concept. Like, he was the creator of that concept, which I would argue is an invention. But I don't think an invention is the old school bricks and mortar building.
I know it's about to happen.
Come here!
No, I mean in general, because we can definitely go back and forth. That's a whole other podcast, not called That's Ranked, that we can go into the idea of what inventions are, and how, exactly,
We're here to have fun.
Yeah, we're here to have fun.
So stop killing the fun. Exactly.
I'd love to hear what the listeners think.
Yes, please write in.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this is really divisive.
Because
it's been really divisive. Not divisive, but there's been really different ranks across the board.
Yeah.
And interpretation.
And interpretations, yeah.
You guys are talking about things that evolved history in the worst way possible. And we just talked about shame and jacking off.
No, it's not jacking off.
I didn't just talk about shame. I talked about evolution, slavery, and shame.
I'm just trying to be funny.
You wear those fucking toe socks, don't you?
I do.
I can just tell.
I still got a pair from Japan. I still got a pair from Japan. All right, we have to wrap this up. We really do. We really do. Great episode, everybody. Now, I've done the maths.
Yeah.
I invented some maths.
I invented the ranking formula.
Yeah, you did.
So, Dean, thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
4th place. Was lead, unfortunately.
Really? I hated every second of it.
Oh, buddy. I really like the way you communicated it, and it speaks to how you retain that information. Which
the fact that I wasn't last on everyone's vote is enough for me.
Yeah.
Just mine.
Just you placed middle. You placed second, silver, for Rob and myself.
I was doing fine until Taryn.
I can argue the same.
2nd place tonight. That's right. I jumped from 4th to 2nd because there's a tie. Yeah, 2nd place tonight. You've got shake weights and exercise equipment and funky stuff like that. And Rob?
Eugenics.
Yeah. Therefore, to the winner of the worst invention ever, which is a fun, strangely controversial one.
The revolution starts now.
It's clothing. It's
Literally.
clothing. Clothing. Wow.
Until we walked outside and we're like, oh, it's cold.
Yeah.
Where's my
And I would
jumper?
use blankets, which are not clothing; they are coverings.
It's a blanket with sleeves.
What were those things called?
Snuggies.
Snuggies.
Snuggies, woodies.
Yeah,
Woody
it's the
snuggies.
future of clothing.
Just another version of a Ponzi scheme, really.
True.
All right, guys. Well done.
Essentially
Dean.
known as a snuggie scheme.
Snuggie
Please
scheme.
go on.
I was going to say, Dean, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
having me.
Thank you, Dean.
And everyone at home, you're going to be seeing a few more friendly faces coming through while this one over here decides to ship herself off to a different. But you know, you're going to be joining us from across the way. She's not going anywhere. Don't worry, you're not going anywhere, right? Other than Germany.
No, I'm gonna go get my buns out in Europe.
Through time.
She's literally going somewhere, but aside from that,
But thank you very much for watching, everybody, and listening wherever you're listening. Like, share, subscribe. Taryn's going to die over here for a second.
That's where she's going. Heaven.
Excuse me.
emergency.
Swallowed that wrong.
Okay, phrasing. So we've got.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. If you've got an idea for our rank, please be sure to let us know. We'll chuck it on the friendly wheel back here somewhere. And yeah, give us a 5-star. Give us a thumbs up. Do all that stuff.
Smash that like button.
There we go.
Subscribe.
We got a hype man as well.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe. 95.3.
You can tell I watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's good.
Like unleaded fuel.
Any final thoughts? Dean, do you have a final thought, perchance?
I do. I think the way we...
Go on. We're just celebrating quietly.
I think the way in which society evolves can be based on inventions, yet it's important to note how detrimental we can act on a society and how we can actually, in attempting to move it forward, we can move it backwards. As the saying goes, the road to heaven is, what is it?
Paved with the best of intentions.
Yes, that's it. So,
Very good.
A match made in heaven over there.
Yeah, I tell you what. You guys,
Best buddies.
you guys-
Did we just become best friends?
Finishing the sentence.
do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Oh my God!
Aw,
beautiful. Thanks, Dean. Lovely.
that was beautiful.
All right. See you next time. Bye.